Starting on the defense, GC Busan. I just love the webcams, by the way. It feels very Spanish, and they're all in a house, and you can see they're how tired, how pissed, how focused, and maybe how chill they look.
Yeah, I mean, honestly,
same facial expression. I don't know.
You can see how focused Sparkle is and how pumped he is because, you know, and you should see someone like that being pumped up because you're watching a player, Sparkle, who in the last map absolutely drilled Ion. I mean, Ion was not allowed to play on Element Mystic's attack at all. GC Busan Wave defensively couldn't do anything because they never had a Reinhardt. So if they can have that same impact from Sparkle, there's a Zarya player, then catch Doha maybe again?
He's trying to translocate away. He can't. But Element Mystic, although starting to get through the door here, Ion is half health, gets healed up. GC Busan moving forward and watching the Doha cam, seeing if he can find his way into the backline. He's getting harassed so much from free, you just can't set up any hacks.
Yeah, it's really tough when you're just constantly getting shot. Finally, you get the Zarya, but guess what? The fight's pretty much already over because while Free wasn't dealing with you, he was dealing with your Zarya instead. And without the Zarya, there's no way, no how that you're getting a push in to the point at all, especially through that archway. It's so tough, especially when you don't have the barrier to back things up.
Well, I mean, Free's out of mech. You can start to push forward here. Doha's gonna have the EMP. They start to build that space, but Ion has a shatter, and they might be walking into this one first. And he's getting shots from behind. He's clearly telling his team, can we deal with the Sombra, please? And especially with that EMP, Ion gets stunned and wiped away from the screen. Now, Element Mystic can now move towards the point. All they had to wait for was for Doha to get that darn EMP.
Yeah, there's no way that they're going to be able to clear a grab, so I think this is just all going to be about buying more time so that they can set up on point B, but they're doing it very late.
Wow. Yeah, re-engage here for GC Busan. This can bite them in the butt. At least they did bait out here the Undine's Transcendence and the rally from Hanbin, so this was two support ultimates that maybe they didn't necessarily need to use.
And they did get Edison out of that fight as well. They bought time for him to get out, I believe, with quite a bit of charge. So now if they do wind up going grab for grab, they will have some opportunity for follow-up there. But Doha already up on that high ground.
Grab from Edison and see if it's enough damage. No one has died yet, and Sparkle with this responding grab, and this is a bit of a chaotic fight as Element Mystic looking to get their way towards the point, getting closer to Doha's EMP, and this will be their plan B approach. Now that they still have all 6 people available. Doha, though, didn't get the translocator he wanted, and this is a bit of a strange fight.
Yeah, they're just gonna wait out for Doha to get into position, but they already lost their main tank, and it will crumble behind that. Element Mystic should be able to come into this next fight, set up Doha into position, get the EMP off, and look a lot better, but that could have been very dangerous for GC Busan Wave in that fight. I mean, that could have been everything. If Undine had his Transcendence, Element Mystic wins that fight every single time. So really, really nice that they were able to at least get that on point A on that defense, so that they could have an opportunity to hold here. But again, that EMP from Doha, gotta look out for that.
Well, Element Mystic used the EMP, drop towards the low ground here. Fielder has the Transcendence ready for GC Busan. They stay alive only for the moment, but you can't stop Sparkle with that high energy, smacking them right back to spawn, getting ready to have their second tick. GC Busan, they want to get back to stall this one out, shave that enormous time bank down, 4 minutes and 45 and more, not able to stall.
Big shatter there from Takayaki as well to deny any of that staggering to occur from GC Busan Wave, and they would have taken a little bit more time away, but that's a good pace right there. 443 on their attack. Now they go to defense, and I would expect that they would be bringing out the Sombra once again, even for their defense, especially for their defense, actually, because that's where they typically pull that out. And
in that replay, though, Fielder hid, and that's why they had Transcendence, stayed out of line of sight. And I've been loving how these supports have been realizing when that EMP is coming out and hiding and using that support ultimate to save themselves.
Yeah, and ideally, you know, the rest of their team, unfortunately for GC Busan Wave, it didn't really work out that way that time around.
Yeah,
but
it's cool. It's a cool play, but
yeah,
cool
when
play,
you get when you have a mobile microwave just kind of running at you in the form of Sparkle with the Zarya, just 100 charge, it's even a 300 HP per second Transcendence is going to struggle with something like that. So now we'll see. He did do his best. So GC Busan Wave now going to be firing back with an attack of their own, trying to find a way to emulate the performance that they had on the first 2 objectives of King's Row on our last map. But in order to do that, I think you're really going to have to find a pick onto someone like Doha again. I mean, they put a lot of pressure on him, but once he gets put into those positions, Element Mystic really show no signs of letting up. GC Busan Wave, even with Free on the Diva, trying to keep the Sombra in check, it's a lot to deal with. And again, that Diva role in this meta is so difficult, especially when you throw a Sombra into the mix.
For sure, but Doha on this defense will at least be a little bit safer. He can translocate away from Free, and he doesn't have to hop over just this large doorway that's already difficult. But, I mean, GC Busan just walk right on in. They had the pass where they go right towards the point. Element Mystic, though, are waiting for them. Shield's already broken here for Ion. He's going to start swinging away, and Element Mystic here need to start contesting. They have the shield advantage, and they really are. I'm not sure if they're waiting for Doha to set up a hack or regenerating their shields and their health pools, but it's taking a bit of a while. As long as Element Mystic are contesting, I mean, they're wasting time.
Yeah, they're trying to get into position here, trying to get into a spot where they can actually get their Reinhardt safely cleaving around a corner, but it doesn't seem like that's going to happen here, especially with the heals coming out onto Ion as well.
Cancelled! Doha's EMP just got canceled from Daydream. Huge plays. GC Busan now got 2 free ticks. Element Mystic tried to step on, setting up a play with that EMP, and then got wiped out. And now look at this train of GC Busan going right to point B.
Yeah, nobody's going to be able to set up into position. They're just going to run right onto point. They have Rally. They have Transcendence to back up as well. They might be able to get something going here.
Got a hope and a daydream. Fielder's Transcendence is ready as they got shattered. Takoyaki's getting ready for his own shatter. He's just getting stunned. No one's allowed to play video games here. Element Mystic right back to spawn. The wave of ultimates that GC Busan just unleashed. They're going to finish with a 6-minute time bank. Maybe Element Mystic can get back, or maybe they won't. They're just going to decide to stay in spawn.
Well, Undine tried to peel out with the Hammond, just wasn't quick enough, unfortunately. But cleverly played, beautifully played, well executed there by GC Busan Wave. I mean, we're able to have the momentum, recognize the opportunity, get in there. Huge setup from Ion, set them all down. So now they're not taking any pressure. And by being able to actually set this up, he gave time for his supports to play reactively in terms of being able to start matching those support ults. And then because he was backed up by all that support and they were doing things second, they had that longevity, and he's able to build a second shatter in that very same fight. So huge plays from Ion really enabled his supports to, once again, just turn back around and make him into a cannon of a Reinhardt player.
I just feel like maybe, correct me if I'm wrong, Element Mystic may be relying on Doha a little bit too much, right? On their defense, they only engaged when Doha had EMP. Once Doha got stunned out of his EMP and died, Element Mystic didn't have much to do. They kind of waited out the 2 ticks. They're all 6 of them alive, staring at GC Busan get the cap. Then Doha died, and then GC Busan just run them over for point B when they had all these ultimates that they didn't have to use for point A. So I want to see a little bit more aggression here from Element Mystic, not necessarily always waiting for the Sombra to set up the plays, but try and let Takoyaki lead these.
Yeah, and I'm hearing from production as well that the second shatter wasn't even just in the same fight. It was within 6 seconds of the first shatter. So huge plays by Ion. But Doha now, he's going to be again on that Sombra, trying to get into the backline, setting up, kind of perched himself up on the high ground exactly where he was the first time around.
He's playing chicken with Freeze, trying to get over these doorways, and Freeze just spy checking everywhere, super paranoia, and misses the hack, and Doha might have to translocate out, but Free just leaves him alone. Knows that he has to help the rest of his team, but knows that Ion's just fine. I trust you, buddy. I trust you to hold the door. He's gonna go chase down Doha, who's already 65% to an EMP.
Well, they're forced to back up to the point already just to cover because the Sombra is overhead, a looming presence, constant. And now 90% towards this EMP. He could throw this out if they need it to capture this quickly.
Oh, it's going down. They are not getting the kills that they want. Sparkles down there. It's the EMP. Now no shields and no abilities here. And you're looking for the follow-up. There's Takoyaki shattering too and looking to just charge into more. They've got the D-Mech. They've got Ion. It's still one fight for Element Mystic, but they got to keep going.
Oh, they're slowly looking like they're going to be able to hold this one, especially as they're going to get their respawns as well. Element Mystic should be able to take this, but it's just going to be a question of how much do they have to spend to be able to get it done. And looks like they're going to be able to come out pretty okay. Unfortunately for them, though, GC Busan Wave have a lot of answers of their own. Element Mystic with a huge advantage in terms of support ultimates. They should be able to out-sustain much to the same degree as what we saw from GC Busan. So they have to get aggressive here and start taking this to their advantage.
Doha's already ready. He's like, I got point B, guys. And it's this interaction between Free not letting Doha play the game and Doha farming an EMP off of Free. And he's going to have an EMP for this fight. Now the question is, are you going to see the grab from Edison or the EMP from Doha first?
Looks like Doha's going to want to do this aggressively. He's already up on the high ground, waiting for that E to come back up so he can translocate onto the point, get as much value as possible. But you can see those support players in the back line staying away. Daydream is the one you got to look out for with the sound barrier.
Yeah, you gotta nail these supports. Gets towards the back. Daydream isn't hacked. He drops the barrier. Now grab the plan B from Sparkle. They take out all of GC Busan and sorry, not Fielder. It was Undine's Transcendence just for extra measure. But GC Busan, man, both teams have been getting completely run over on these point B defenses. And Element Mystic now staring at the barrel of their third point. GC Busan now engaged here with their own graph.
Great counter shatter from Takoyaki, lays them all into the ground, and that will suffice for them to be able to get this point captured. Really, really solid mental play from Takoyaki to just kind of catch that Reinhardt off guard. Ion didn't even see it coming, and didn't really take too much time for them to get that fourth point on the board. 229 remaining for them. Unfortunately, looking on the other side, it's a little bit scary, right? 624, especially the way that GC Busan Wave were able to capture that first time around. It's, you know, getting that fourth point on the board doesn't really mean a lot when you see that time bank on the other side.
Well, it's the ult economy from these teams that speaks a lot, right? They only use maybe 1 or 0 ultimates at point A, and that means they just have a ton to work with at point B. But what's interesting is the offense are always pulling the trigger first, hence why they're able to just snowball this into 2-minute captures or less. And that's Doha, who used the EMP before Edison could get the grab off. And that's because GC Busan, they held the low ground. They stayed all the way back to make sure that their supports weren't going to get EMP'd, but they forgot about Sparkle's grab. So then the plan B came out from Element Mystic and they got it done.
And we will see Element Mystic once again. Looking like they want to defend with this Sombra. GC Busan Wave, on the other hand, again, triple tank, triple support. So nothing too fancy happening here between either team, but again, just going back to the fundamentals and the level of play that we're getting out of both of these teams, it's very, very high level play, right? GC Busan Wave playing excellently so far. We've seen not too many mistakes. I mean, that's crazy given the fact that these are O2 teams, right? These are O2 teams playing very, very high level triple tank, triple support variation play.
Doha's on the high ground, could get a free hack, don't think it connected, but Free needs to, you know, spy check, sure, but Doha's not scared. He will 1v1 this Diva and farm another grab. Look, he hacks Free and Free just can't do anything. He's like, team, help me, please. This Sombra is really scary. Now the first take's about to go through here for GC Busan, and Doha is farming an EMP off of Free solely. Now he's going to have it, looking to finish off Ion, but he'll just rely on the rest of his team to do that.
Element Mystic looking to build momentum here, but oh no, they're gonna have to use the EMP just to win the fight.
Yeah, losing 2, not great, especially your main shield. This is a winnable fight here. They've lost so much, but taking out Edison, you don't have as much DPS here for GC Busan, who now going for their third take. Element Mystic now maybe don't want to get staggered out too much, and now they have to quickly hurry back towards point B. Undine has to drop off the map.
Oh, they're probably gonna lose Sparkle too, or at least
oh, he got away.
He's gonna be in a bad position, but he does actually get that health pack from Hanbin there, the instant recovery. Undine should be able to get into position rather quickly, and Doha can protect him, but there's the EMP already.
Now is the snowball going to start? The grab does get 2. Takoyaki was there to slam the hammer in. Now GC Busan, finally the first reset we've seen for point B.
And Doha right now trying to go forward, and you know, Element Mystic, they're cleaning up regardless, and Sparkle dropping the Graviton right on their heads, not the EMP, as I said, because I'm dumb.
There's so many EMPs, you just assume an ultimate goes off, and it's probably Doha.
It's the Korean callouts that I'm trying to adjust to as well, right? Because it sounds very, very different. But either way, Element Mystic, they're coming into this fight, you know, definitely locked and loaded, jumping down from the high ground. They're going to be able to kind of gauge how they want to play this, but that EMP is going to be at the ready.
Yeah, it does nail absolutely everyone, even the support, so no barrier from Daydream that can save anyone. So great awareness here from Doha to wait until GC Busan comes down from the high ground and making sure you have those supports in your line of sight.
Mystic coming away with a win and coming away with Sparkle on another Graviton, and we saw them go from the high ground, Sparkle catching GC Busan Wave off guard, and this is the first time we've seen a team defensively actually hold something up. Element Mystic really slowing things down for GC Busan Wave, and if they can keep this going, they can even the odds, even the playing field for this matchup here on Hanamura. Oh, good
They
group.
got a Grav, and they got some support ultimates to work here, and it's going to be Grav versus Grav, a left side approach. They have to be a little bit careful. You can see that Element Mystic not wanting to engage. They might want to just have this lane clear for Takoyaki's Shatter. Ion, I wonder if he knows what's happening.
Okay.
Great boop to get some people onto the low ground.
He's relentless. That's both times that, you know, the GC Busan Wave want to pull into the fight and go in and have a plan executed, and both times that strategy has been displaced by Unique on the Lucio.
The more time you wait, the more time you give Doha to get an EMP, though. He's 20 or 50%. You got Grav now from Edison, free with the self-destruct. Is it gonna get kills? But you got the barrier from Unique and the Transcendence from Undine coming out. Element Mystic survive. Doha, the re-engage here. The Shatter combined with it. Takoyaki going in. GC Busan, they had used the barrier, but it's not enough to keep them sustained. And not even a first take here for Busan. Interesting rally, and by interesting, I mean useless, because it's not gonna save GC Busan at all.
Yeah, this is one of those fights.
Or he's gonna go hard. He's actually gonna be a raid boss. He just got 3 kills.
GC Busan Wave, you know, despite all these kills, they realistically shouldn't win this even still. And somehow this Brig player here, Delight, has carried everybody into his backpack, and they look like they might be able to get something going here.
I don't know how a Brig player just got a 3K. Rally, become a raid boss, win the fight at the third take going in. Doha, though, just EMP'd and got a 2K. This is what I mean. Both these teams are so back and forth. They never give up, never reset is the motto. Now Sparkle with the high energy will laser everyone away, and you'll actually get a stop here from the defense. Almost that third take, 99.3%.
That still never should have happened. I mean, that never should have happened, that Delight was able to actually pop like that, and they were able to get 99.3% on the board, and now he's already built into another another ultimate here, another rally that they're going to be able to use in this next fight as well. But Element Mystic, they have both their support ults ready. Undine, Unique already have that. They have the Graviton coming in as well. 150 on the clock here for GC.
Okay, Free. Okay, I see you. Eating the Grav. Nice job. But Element Mystic, they're barriered, and half of them are dead. So that was not a great engage from them. Now GC Busan looking to take the point, getting towards their third tick. Element Mystic not on the point. And the time bank will be smaller, though.
And I'm still... How? How did you let him bring just 1v5 like everybody? I think he had like one other person next to him, and they were just like casually trying to take down everybody, and then in the back line, Delight's just swinging away. Just
it's like
mouse
rally,
one, W key, rally, engage. Like, let's go, boys. We're trying to keep this fight alive.
Rally, so small brain. Rally to give armor to your team. Galaxy brain, armor to let you 1v6 the entire team and flip the fight. That's actually Galaxy brain. Although, maybe in a typical fight you wouldn't want to use that ultimate, but Delight, clearly the most confident Brig player I've ever seen. That worked out.
Yeah, hey, I mean, GC Busan Wave, you know, they have Delight in for some of their matchups, but you know, occasionally they do bring in Alpha Yi instead to play their Brig, but maybe this is why they wanted to bring in Delight, because he's going to make those kinds of plays where he just says, you know what, I got you, squad. Rally up, let's go.
Oh, rally, let's go, bro.
134. So I mean, a decent defense there put on display by Element Mystic. Now we're going to see GC Busan Wave attacking again. Of course, Doha on that Sombra defensively here yet again. And now Element Mystic in the driver's seat. They're going to have to really get something going here on this first point. Neither team have really been able to do just that so far.
Yeah, quick scout from Doha. Surprise, it's the same stuff. But Doha on this high ground, see if he can get a free hack. He didn't get the connection he wanted last time, and actually staying out of line of sight, he's not getting the hack he wants. And Element Mystic playing towards the point, you know, no point of holding the door. GC Busan are already in. But you can see their supports got a little bit low, taking this high ground approach, regenerating your shields, getting your cooldowns ready, and then they're going to hop into the point.
And Doha's not going to be able to build up too much charge before they actually engage now. And they're already getting control of the point. It's going to be very difficult for Element Mystic to get in.
Very difficult. It's almost kind of like a deja vu of last time, how they let GC Busan get a bunch of ticks and then they engage with the EMP. Doha only 50% away, so they'll need to engage without it. 2 free ticks. Now 6 versus 5, 5 versus 5 for GC Busan. Looking for the third tick. What a shotter from Takoyaki, going in, clearing it with the help of Sparkle. 90% energy, doing great, but they didn't have to give those ticks.
Yeah, Delight had his pack up. Should have been able to get it over to Ion, but I don't think he was sure whether or not he was actually going to get it to Ion or if someone stepped in front of him to be able to, you know, maybe get it in the way. But either way, EMP could be all they need to stop GC Busan wave here. 10 seconds. They got to get to the point now.
EMP drops as they walk into the door. Now the follow-up is there. Ion instantly deleted. The rest following up. Even the grab for extra measure, making sure they cannot go anywhere. And that's where the road will end. But at least they got 2 ticks. So
yeah, that's crucial because 229 is enough, but they did let 84.1% capture percentage go through for GC Busan waves. So this is still, you know, this is winnable for either side. Either side can take this right now. GC Busan wave is a capable team of being able to, you know, even allow 2 ticks to go through and then push the fight in from there if something goes awry from Element or for GC Busan wave from Element Mystic, you know, really kind of pushing their aggression once again. That's what we see from them time and time again. It's what we expect to see from them. Interesting way that they took the fight. Again, it's really hard to be able to get back into control on point A of Hanamura when you are running the Sombra over the Diva because your Diva can't get your Reinhardt into position. So the fact that they were even able to find a pick to open that fight out, that was huge. And especially not having to need the EMP follow-up, they could use it for that second fight. Really good stuff from Element Mystic. Unlucky.
I was gonna say bad jump. Bad jump. But at least GC Busan.
Bang.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Got it. Edison, you know, but glad he's back onto the Zarya. You know, they tried some different stuff, knowing that the Rhine Goats is what they do best. Element Mystic, sticking with what they do best. The Sombra Goats, Hanbin probably just throwing a sound arrow out, switching right back up to the Diva. Or sorry, the Brig. That's what I meant. And now they're getting ready for an attack, but they can't wait for Doha here. 2.5 minutes is 2 fights, and probably just 1 fight for a team like Element Mystic that waits so long for ults to come back up.
You can see, you know, Doha wanted to get perched up again, but they were ready for him. They had everybody ready to just engage onto that Sombra. Free clean it up, sure, but everybody was looking at that Sombra, and they shut it down quickly. Although, again, it's just a matter of time before the Sombra actually gets the EMP up, and that might be a huge win condition should things be missing, like support ults from GC Busan Wave.
Free's like, you can't hack me up here, and Doha's like, bet. It just goes up there and tries to just farm off Free, and you can see Doha is not at all concerned because Free just can't hit any shots and finally forces that translocate out of Doha, is gonna get that finish. Element Mystic, though, have been farming their own ultimates, getting a shatter closer to grab, but Free might have gone a little bit too deep. Thankfully, not the demon through. I don't know how
did they not kill a Diva there? It's 5v1. Hello?
It's very
but nonetheless,
Diva, okay?
Free, he sits on the mega health pack, gets that health. Then I think his Brig actually managed to get the E over to him as well. So a lot of sustain going over to him, but maybe a charge setup or something to disable the Diva might have been a setup for them. But either way, Free gets out and is able to maybe put some pressure on Doha. But again, 1 minute remaining, and now we'll see the EMP coming up for Doha looking to set it up.
Yeah, Fielder's hiding, though. He's ready with Transcendence. This guy knows, but the Shatter, they were not ready for Takoyaki's Shatter. Thankfully, they're all still alive for the moment. Now you got Plan C, and that's Sparkle's grab. Barrier, though. Plan B for GC Busan. They're still alive, and you got 40 seconds left. Element Mystic have just not built a solid enough offense, but now the Shatter goes through from Takoyaki, the second one, and now they move on towards the point. Starting to build up that percentage points. He kind of left the rest of his team now. He's like, oh yeah, I should probably frontline. Nice pin out of downtown onto Delight, finishing off Free, and now they can go to the objective.
20 seconds on the clock, and it should be enough for them, Element Mystic. We'll see one last contest, though, as GC Busan Wave have the Hammond ready to go and just launch himself onto it, but pushed back immediately.
He just got noped, and so did Daydream as he hacked to get on in. Okay, he got the spin to win set up, and Sparkle on the Doomfist thought he could maybe knock him off the map, but that is done and over with. Starting off 0-1, Element Mystic turn it around and take the 2 consecutive maps up 2-1 now.
And they will have the opportunity to close things out. It's not over just yet. We still have at least one more map still on the table as we move into Junkertown. And Element Mystic, yeah, they could close it out, but GC Busan Wave definitely seem like a team that's more than capable because, again, these have been really, really close maps so far. GC Busan Wave could equal things out, and we could have a Game 5 on our hands later on.
Well, let's see if the GC Busan curse of Game 5 will be coming up. We'll throw it to a quick break, and we'll see you guys on the other side. Welcome back, everybody, to Contenders Korea. We are down to our 4th map, and what a turnaround Element Mystic just did. Started off 0-1 when GC Busan took Lijiang, then Element Mystic took Kings Row and Hanamura. It's looking like things are coming together. Going into our 4th map, what do we have here? Junkertown.
Yeah, and as things come together, things quickly fall apart on a map like Junkertown. It's the map that's quick. I honestly think there isn't a map that is in at least this pool that is more capable of ripping everything about our world apart and making everything seem like we have no understanding of anything at all. But the one thing that I do think will maintain and persist here through into Junkertown is the fact that we're going to be getting Doha on Sombra. That is going to persist without a doubt. Not even a hot take. If there was
facts of life.
That take exists in the freezer where it belongs, and I mean, to expect him to be running anything other than Sombra, especially on something like defense, then I just don't see that. Although you never know, we could see some crazy stuff come out from even a team like GC Busan Wave, who have in the past pulled out someone like Jonggu and been able to run like a quad DPS crazy setup. So maybe some kind of cart surfing we're going to be getting in this. I mean, I don't even know.
I want my man's fielder to dink Doha again. I feel like he's been the only one. He's literally made Doha change his mind about who he wants to farm his EMP off of. You can see Junkertown. It is confirmed because the graphic will show you this. But you can see Doha definitely stopped going after fielder. It's very scary Zenyatta. Let's go farm free. And that's been working out. And at times you've seen you know, Free and friends actually be able to catch Doha and kill him before he translocates. But I feel like Free just by himself isn't pressuring Doha enough to force him to translocate, and it's giving him EMP almost every fight.
Yeah, I mean, he's just able to take that trade, and that's why you see them go for the Reinhardt Zarya and then have that, you know, diva-less approach to the Sombra, because they say, you know what, we can take that 1-to-1 because he doesn't have, you know, because Diva is pretty, I would say pretty significantly nerfed, although it's not nerfed enough to, you know, warrant Diva being out of the meta, but nerfed enough to allow the Sombra to take that 1v1, put out some pressure, build EMPs, and work from there. So we can see GC Busan Wave not changing anything up in terms of their lineup, keeping Delight there, especially given his performance on Hanamura. That should not be a surprise at all. Element Mystic doing just the same. But again, curiosity is peaked here because we will see Z actually coming in. This is a player that was a DPS player, swapped over to kind of a DPS / support substitute, someone that they can kind of throw in there. He's gonna be able to play Zen. He's already played Zen in this season as well for Element Mystic, but he can also play a lot of these DPS roles and have impact here. So this is a really interesting substitution for Element Mystic, and certainly seems like they're gonna want to play something like triple or quad DPS when they make a substitution like this.
And Z is also substituted in quite frequently on these map 4s on Escort, and he might just try and get some initial shots here, pairing up with Sparkle on the Genji and Doha on the Sombra, so might need that second support here, or not. We're gonna go with the triple DPS solo heal of Unique on the Mercy.
Definitely have to keep your eye on Sparkle on the Genji here, because as they are going to be going up against this triple tank, triple support, it's up to him to make sure that he builds blades. Otherwise, he's not going to have too much effect on this particular hero selection. So you're going to have to find value, find efficacy in this Genji pick with the blades, just dashing through and finding a lot of damage pressure through spike damage.
Yeah, but the single support lineup is definitely not an early fight composition. They're trying to go in and see if they can finish it off, because against triple support, the late fight is going to favor here GC Busan with the triple support. Now, first pick for Element Mystic. As you can see, Sparkle has Blade. It's just getting dash resets, and now that they're going into the little house, he might not want to go in there with them.
Really, actually patient Genji play on display from Sparkle as well, just making sure that they kept them in that house long enough for everybody to get positioned so that they could actually follow through with some of his damage pressure. And really good spike from Sparkle, the coordination between him and Doha to make sure that they were able to set up onto the backline. Daydream Fielder, really, really tough to deal with something like a Genji and a Sombra simultaneously. You can't keep both of them off. You have to choose one. And now EMP at the ready, as well as that Blade.
Are they going to want to use it here? Because this is almost a one fight for them, getting so close. EMP drops, and there's the Blade from Sparkle towards the back. You do not want to deal with the Brigitte. That is not the one, but it doesn't matter. His team will win the rest of the fight, but the EMP Blade is out of the picture. GC Busan just making it as difficult as they can, and there is point A for Element Mystic.
And 4:35 on the clock as well as they accomplish that task, and it only took 3 ults for them to get it done. Ion now, he's on the Winston as he's trying to deal with all these threats, particularly the Genji threat of Sparkle, so that he can get in there, create some space, put some pressure down onto the Genji, even if he is deflecting, but still have to worry about the Dragon Strike that's available for Z that can split GC Busan Wave in half.
But if he dives in on his own, you have the potential of getting hacked. So is he going to be pressuring Z? Is he going to go after Unique, take that healing resources away? As one down here, Z is out, and not a resible situation here for Element Mystic, who now take a back foot. And that Supercharger invested, taken out as early as it was summoned, and GC Busan holding the defense.
So as Element Mystic want to re-engage this, I have to imagine Takayaki wants to swap main tank roles. And there it is. So The reason why you don't want to go for the Orisa pick here is because getting a retake on an Orisa is literally impossible. You see that all the time on control type maps,
swap.
but it's going to exist here as well. They're just going to swap all their composition up entirely because getting the retakes was going to be super hard. Now they can just go with the EMP setup.
EMP setup, everyone is trapped, and the grab re-engage actually catches Element Mystic, and they were not able to follow up with that EMP, but it's still a 2-for-1 exchange. Now they drop onto the cart. Swinging away here is Takoyaki. Delight will be around the corner, but he won't be delighted to meet him for much longer. Element Mystic taking that fight, getting to the end of point B.
Yeah, and with this swap, they can also benefit from the EMP by building into their ultimates. They just swapped, but they're already about halfway towards building into their first wave, as you could call it. Element Mystic, a lot of benefit from that swap. GC Busan Wave should be able to contest this. It should be able to contest this very heavily as well. They will have the Transcendence to back up all of the power, the Primal Rage even from Ion.
Getting ready to engage. Oh, Ion gets hacked though. Can't use the Primal quite yet. Transcendence from Fielder, keeping him and the rest of the team up. And now they engage off of this as Ion jumps, uses the bubble to cut off the healing. Transcendence now used from Z to join with the rest of his team, but already losing Sparkle. It's a big hit to your DPS. Maybe could have built the grab for the re-engage, but now Element Mystic are just caught running away.
Oh, Ion with the Primal Rage. This should be a fight win for them, or at least the ability to pull out and get everybody set up into positions, and that's the kind of route they're going to take here. As Ion pulls back, they don't even go down their throats with that Primal Rage, which you would see a lot of teams doing. If they don't have any ultimates close enough, I think Element Mystic starting up this fight, they could get aggressive, go for a beat engage if they want to. Although GC Busan Wave, if they see that coming, they could react accordingly with a beat of their own very late into the fight and benefit that way.
But it's going to be a shatter at the ready for Takoyaki, and the bubble's already dropped, slams it down, catches a few easy kills here for this main tank player of Element Mystic. Minute 30, still looking towards point B. They use not only EMP, but the barrier. A ton of ultimates, and the grab on top of that. That was just a dumpster of ultimates from Element Mystic, and now they will get point B.
Remember, Element Mystic 2-1 right now in the set, so as they get ever closer to the end of this map, and you know, we see that finality closing in of being able to capture that third point, GC Busan Wave definitely have to start feeling the terror, right, of just maybe it's not going to be our round again, our set again, but here they are, aggression right out of the gates, coming around that corner, looking for something.
And it's important that Ion swap back to the Reinhardt. You need to feel this away. Delight is such an aggressive Brigida, and Element Mystic are just backing away. Ion or Takoyaki needs to survive, but it's just unable to. GC Busan playing so aggressively, running them over, and that first pick is all that they needed. Now they will just take a step back.
Control now to GC Busan Wave. And what they should do here is make sure that they have at least some semblance of high ground control. And it looks like Free does have the opportunity to go for that. You know, they really want to be able to make sure that they can shut down the ability for Doha to take high ground like he did on Hanamura and just be able to start raining down death from above, building into an EMP, and then he can easily drop that from that position.
Now Edison's gonna have the grab. They use it now, and Ion not swinging necessarily away too much, not wanting to be too aggressive. Free using that self-destruct to just build some room, and GC Busan holding this defense, but now they get hacked here from Doha. But thankfully Fielder had the Transcendence, but they still lose Daydream. They lose Free's mech, and that will be the end of the defense for GC Busan until the end here of Junkertown.
Element Mystic going to be able to play off their supports in this next fight, as well as we do see Unique at 98%, or as is about to tick to 98% at least, on his sound barrier. So this is going to be a big opportunity for them to play off of that and their grab, sustain, cleave into the grab, find the kills that they need. But GC Busan Wave need to make sure that they take this slowly, start building up some of their ults, or at least look for an opportunity to get, you know, something like a Bash Shatter going so everybody can start building quickly into the support ults. They need the sustain now more than ever.
It's an interesting high ground approach. They really want to dislodge his defense from up there. Sparkle is going to be looking for a grab pretty soon, but needs everyone to be in the same place for that to be at least as effective as possible. Element Mystic also could be setting up a shatter, seeing they can go for the stun here onto Ion. The grab is thrown here from Sparkle. So much DPS being thrown in, especially that 100% energy. Sparkle, now the last couple meters that Element Mystic have to go. GC Busan, they have ultimates, but they got to get back quick.
They should be able to contest this if they can get in position, and they should be able to do that as a team here as they engage. Element Mystic, GC Busan Wave, both with a lot of sustain.
Oh, you want to get this to overtime. The Ion Shatter got blocked mostly. And Element Mystic trying to survive this one out. They use the Transcendence now in overtime. This is perfect here for GC Busan Wave. The EMP thrown in for extra measure from Doha. GC Busan, though, they had the Transcendence to keep them up. Now the barrier, they want to out-survive this over Element Mystic. Sparkle dies with Grav, and there's GC Busan, who actually holds Element Mystic at bay.
And they actually do the deed. I mean, they finally are able to get a defense going. I mean, it seemed like such a long time coming where it was just time and time again, Element Mystic was getting these fights in their favor. They had a great swap going into that second point as well, where they did lose the fight on the Orisa triple DPS composition and instantly playing off of the EMP that came out from Doha and building into their own ultimates, creating momentum off of that. And those swaps are just looking really good. So Element Mystic, you can tell that, you know, the coaching is definitely warming them up, and they're definitely looking a lot better than their first 2 week performances so far. But GC Busan Wave, they get the stop. Now it's their opportunity to attack here. And Element Mystic, I wouldn't be surprised if they actually did put out...
Oh.
I mean, Sombra, yeah, but I wouldn't be... This is what I was talking about. I wouldn't be surprised if they wanted to run a DPS composition once again. Because, again, you don't bring out Z just to run triple DPS on attack for 1 point. You run him so that you can do it on defense as well.
But I just want to say I'm a big fan of GC Busan's supports. Like, Fielder consistently never gets hacked in these EMPs. He knows when they happen, and he uses Transcendence. Hence why they were able to out-survive Element Mystic in that long, drawn-out fight. And also that Doha kind of panic EMP. You know, his team got grabbed, and he tried to EMP to maybe prevent the engage from being so dangerous from GC Busan. If he would have been able to hold that for the re-engage after the grab was over, maybe Element Mystic would have had more tools to work with. But on this defense, surprisingly, you're seeing those DPS that you're talking about, and the solo heal Mercy.
Yeah, they're really going to try to take these pot shots, do as much little chip damage as they can, and try to call out any low targets that happen from, you know, the Widowmaker just landing these body or head shots as often as possible, and then Sparkle can just go ahead and dive right in on that, and a big pick from Z on this Widowmaker.
Nice stuff. And Free's gonna go and harass the DPS like he usually does. Gets cornered in between 5 people. Not great. So defense holds for now. Oh, Fielder, okay.
Not great. Title of my next mixtape. Unfortunate, but we're gonna see Unique actually go for that res. Z is right back on up, and already a minute and is off the clock, and Element Mystic looking pretty solid.
Very solid so far, and if the more this fight gets drawn out here, the more Element Mystic are gonna come towards dangerous ultimates, mainly EMP Blade, something they're working towards, and you got Vision, but it's actually pretty useful because you're seeing GC Busan taking around this house side, and they're trying to stay out of line of sight from these snipers and DPS mostly.
And we will see GC Busan Wave looking to find a way to engage here with their Winston, diving right in. He already took a lot of pressure though, and there's the EMP.
EMP going right after Fielder. He's got separated from the rest of the team. 1 pick already, not even needing the blade, and actually not deciding to use the blade with the EMP. And this is a very solid defense here from Element Mystic, and this worked out better running the DPS here on the defense.
Yeah, all these threats, all these angles that they can take as well. GC Busan Wave struggling to find a strategy that can actually get them into position where they can start pressuring out Element Mystic. They need to get into position where they can actually force pressure onto Takoyaki and potentially even Hanbin, as those are going to be the most stationary available targets. But you can't do that when you can't even get your Diva out of the spawn.
That really sucks. That really sucks. And now you have to wait for him to get mech back because can't even dive with them, you know? And now you got a blade from Sparkle to worry about. They're just trapped inside of this house. Minute 50 left, and here is the blade from Sparkle. Oh, the 3-for-1 swiperoo, going for the whole team. This guy's incredible. Element Mystic, another defense.
Yeah, and that's why you bring the Genji right there, right? Because you can just wipe the floor when you do get the blade, especially when you have the backup of the Mercy just holding the right click down on you. And we will see Z trying to take advantage of this opportunity, trying to get some pressure in. Doha in the back as well. You can see him laying down pressure just enough to get the EMP online.
Ion has just got to keep his right click taped down. You just cannot trust that Z won't hit a shot. EMP now on top of GC Busan, but again, Fielder, oh, the self-destruct with it. Fielder's Transcendence won't heal through that one, buddy. No, free.
Yeah, free will become a free kill for Element Mystic, and they will be able to clean things up. 53 seconds remaining here on the clock as Element Mystic now looking very poised to be able to clean this up. But GC Busan Wave now have one more shot realistically, and they have a lot of ultimates at their disposal to get it done.
2-1 for Element Mystic. 30 seconds last fight, or the series will be over here for GC Busan. Now Element Mystic getting close to a blade. You can see how Ion turns his head around to avoid that headshot here from Z, and pressuring Z enough, but you got so many other dangers to work with. And while you're trying to dive the rest of Element Mystic, you got Sparkle who's just slicing up your backline. It's impossible to dive this team properly. You even get halted away from Takoyaki. They're having a very safe positioning. Sparkle, this happened twice. This is what happens when you blade the light. He will not let you do it. And because of shutting down that blade now, GC Busan have a real chance of winning. They just have to deal with maybe Z that's left, but he's going to run away.
Yeah, and Takoyaki will swap here, and Doha will be able to drop in the EMP. So they have one more shot at this. It's just going to be tough because they have to get Z into position, they have to get Takoyaki onto the point, and they have to get the EMP out and find value.
All right, EMP is going to drop, and the self-destruct from Hanbin gets the 2-for-1, and GC Busan just falling apart. It's overtime. They had so many dangers to deal with from Element Mystic. One last hurrah from Ion with this Primal Rage, which felt like he was just so on his own throughout the series, diving and just getting headshot and hacked and sliced up from all the players from Element Mystic. That overtime goes away. Element Mystic will take the 3-1 victory over GC Busan and get their first win in Contenders.
And in convincing fashion, too. I mean, what a way to close it out on a high note as well. Really good play. Great synergy out of their Sombra-based compositions as well. Playing off of Doha at a level that we haven't seen as much from them so far in this season. Remember, this is a team that has consistently been a top-level performer in all of 2018 Contenders. So to see them bounce back like this is a good sign for this roster.
I mean, the DPS was something new, and I honestly didn't think it worked out that well for the offense. And then they full held him on the defense. I felt like there were so many dangers of, okay, well, close range, you got Sparkle, who's just killing your entire backline as soon as you go for any sort of dives or any sort of engage. So your supports had to be strapped to your pocket or in your pocket. And you had Z, who was dinking Edison constantly on the Zarya. And then you, who was the third DPS? Genji, Widow, and then you had Sombra, Doha, who's invisible in my brain apparently, who had EMP. So it's pick your poison. They were just messing them up.
I think, honestly, a factor here as well was Element Mystic forcing GC Busan Wave to not be able to play the way that they want to. I mean, GC Busan Wave is typically a team that plays a little bit slower pace. They try to find opportunity to basically allow their opponent to kind of gauge how the fight is going to go, and then GC Busan Wave reacts accordingly. And they do that a lot, especially when they do run their compositions based around McCree as well. But you can see in this matchup, Element Mystic started things off as aggressive as they finished, and you can see they found a lot of value. Yes, there were plays that came out from GC Busan Wave, but Element Mystic, I think, really controlled the way that this fight, or this matchup was supposed to go with their Sombra play.
It's my favorite copy pasta. I'm gonna use it and you're gonna hate me, but I just want to thank, I'm gonna say it anyway. I'm going to thank Free for his charity work. He's doing everything he can to make sure Doha doesn't go hungry, because he feeds him a lot. And that's kind of the story of how this series went. To be in Free's defense, he's hacked a lot of the time, so he can't really do much.
I had to come to his defense even more than that, because, I mean, think back to Lijiang Tower. Think back to Lijiang Tower. I know we're already past all the replays from Lijiang Tower, but think back to the map. Free was popping off, and even throughout the map, he was doing a lot to try to deal with Doha. I say it all the time right now. In this current meta, D.Va is honestly one of the hardest roles, especially when you start integrating all these different little things that they have to deal with, all these angles that they have to try to, you know, throw out defense matrices, you have to eat the fire strike. You have to deal with the Sombra and make sure that they can't hack you or hack your Rhine or hack your Lucio so that they can go for the Sombra or for the Zenyatta kill. I mean, there's so many different things you have to worry about. And then you go to a map like Junkertown, and then, yeah, now you also have to deal with the Widow. Good luck. I mean, there's just so many things that he has to deal with. And I think it's a situation where Free did actually a very good job buying time for his team. It's just, unfortunately, they weren't able to do much with that time that he bought.
And I felt like at least GC Busan tried to commit more players to go after Doha, right? They had Edison who tried to match the Sombra. They had tried to have Edison play the Hanzo, the McCree, all of these heroes that could potentially give Doha something else to hack and something else to put his attention to. And that didn't really work out for King's Row. It was very one-sided for Element Mystic in terms of their efficiency with their EMPs and their hacks and their uptime of these EMPs. And the best look was having Delight on Brig, who was able to shut down Sparkle on these blades and not able to spy check as much. He was more focused on protecting his Rhine, but Free, I never felt like there was enough pressure on Doha, whether with micro missiles or maybe Doha's just so confident because he never really translocated it away from Free. And a lot of the times I saw Free go after Doha, he kind of gave up halfway through when he had half health, decided to go back to the rest of his team. You got to finish it off,
Yeah, that's one of those odd situations where it's like Free did the right thing macro wise. That was the play. You go, you contest high ground, you force the that player off. But I mean, when a Sombra is able to take the 1v1 like that, especially when he's in there by himself and you have the backup of your Zenyatta as well, who can throw out a Discord onto the Sombra, throw out a Harmony onto you, there's no way that you should be losing that. You should at least force the translocator. And I would say he only was able to do that realistically like half of the time, maybe even less. Because we saw a lot of instances where Sombra was just sitting there and was just like, I don't care, and just shooting right into him and getting so much value like that. And we saw him getting a lot more EMPs than in previous series that they've played in their week 1 and week 2 matches because they were kind of exploiting that in this matchup.
And GC Busan not getting the GC Busan curse of Game 5. It was looking like it, but I'm
sure they would have loved to have a Game 5.
I'm sure they would have liked to, and I really got to salute the supports of GC Busan. I think that was the brightest spot on the team. Daydream and Fielder consistently ult tracking, or somebody on the team is ult tracking well enough to know when Doha has EMP, and they scurry away out of line of sight, and they always have a barrier and trance ready. The only issue is they can't stop a microwave of Sparkle who has 100 energy. Those support ultimates can only help you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. And Sparkle definitely bouncing back, I think, as well. And I think Element Mystic, this was definitely an opportunity for them to show that they are close to getting back to their past form and building into that level that we expect from them.
We got another match, though. Congratulations for the first win to Element Mystic. Now we're going on to our second match. And it's the Juggernauts in the standings. Runaway and O2 Blast, both 2-0. So we're going to go throw it to a quick break, and we'll see who will be at the top of the standings after that.